Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is probably going to be a pretty lengthy video today. We got a lot to update everybody on. We had a very eventful 2014, and I apologize if I'm pretty long-winded in this video, but I'm just trying to relay what's going on the best that I can. First, we're going to look at some of our income, just how we did starting in 2012. In 2012, I was working at the convenience store, making $7.65 an hour, and eventually moved up to about $8 an hour. That year, I brought in $5,600 and then took home $4,400. Um, Through January 2013, I worked at this same company. I eventually moved up to 865 an hour, and I was a salary. So you see all these months here with the same amount. That was all working for my previous employer, just 40 hours a week at $8.65 an hour. In October 2013, I changed jobs to a job in pharmaceuticals, making pharmaceutical medicine, which I'll elaborate more on here in just a second. So we were able to finish off 2013 with $17,655 in gross income and about $13,500 in take-home pay. So had a 3 times the amount of that we made in 2012. 2014, we really kept this pace. So all of 2014, I worked for that same pharmaceutical company. Worked a ton of overtime. Here, the first couple months of the year did not work that much overtime, but starting in April through August of 2014, I did not have a single day off. So 160 something days straight of working and going to school at the same time. September, I was able to get 2 weekends off. So I had 4 days off in September. And then through October, November, and December, I worked every weekend. So 90 days straight there. So what is that? 250 days working nonstop throughout the year. If you include August, it's 280 days of work with 4 days off. It is crazy, crazy. So I really took every possible advantage that I could to work as much as I possibly could through 2014. So I will give myself props for that. I don't think I could have done better there. For context, though, the whole year of 2014, except for a couple months here in January and February, I hired on with the company full time in February. And the rest of the year, I've been at 13.65 an hour. So if I would have just worked 40 hours a week through all of 2014, I would have made about 26 or 27,000. I ended up making almost $39,000, mainly due to all of the overtime that I worked. Just absolutely crazy. And then you compare it to last year, I made $17,000 last year and $39,000 this year. So over doubled my income and tripled my income from 2012. So really, really good to see and very motivating for me to, see my income moving in the right direction. It seems that, just a year and a half ago, my goodness, I was $8 an hour. So just, yeah, very thankful for that. Um, Paid $8,200 in taxes this year. I'm hoping that I can get some taxes back. I had to have paid too much on my federal taxes. I'm assuming a lot of these months, like where I made, $3,900 in August, I think I way overpaid taxes because I was taxed at a higher rate. I'm assuming for working so much overtime. For 401k, started my 401k up in March, and then I was able to put $1,686 in this month. My company matches about 2% of that, so I'm putting in about 2.5% to get the 2% match. But take-home pay for the year was $29,000. Lifetime totals, I've made 62,000, paid 13,000 in taxes. That same 1,600 to my 401k, and I've made about $47,000 in my lifetime. So not too bad for just 2 years of working. Um, Before we move further on, just a little bit about myself. So currently at the time of this video, I'm 20 years old. I'm still living at my parents' house. I'm really, really trying to, move out of my parents' house, but I've looked at 3 or 4 houses and started the process of making offers on those houses and getting a loan. And I have to get a pre-approval letter. To get the pre-approval letter, the banks want to see 2 years of income, and I have 2 years of income. Unfortunately, it's not 2 years of income at my new, payment amount, so I'm only able to show them 1 year of that. And I don't have 20% down on most of these houses. The average house in my area right now sells for about 130,000. That would buy you like a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, maybe 1,500 square foot house. So to put 20% down would be like $22,000, which I don't quite have yet. So my plan was to put 10% down, but I cannot get financing from the bank. And I get it. I'm 20 years old. I'm in college. I don't really have much work experience. So I understand. Um, what else? Income in my area. So the average income in the area that I live in 2014 was $49,446, where the average U.S. income was about 54,000, just under 54,000. So the area that I live in is a little, less uh, paying than the average U.S. city, but you'll see too, the average house is 130,000, where the average house in the US is 280,000. So even though we make a little bit less money where I live, it's not like California where everything's outrageously expensive, thankfully. So housing prices are significantly cheaper. And even the average is 130,000. You can find houses in my area for 50,000, or even if you go 30 minutes south or 30 minutes west of where I live, you can find houses in, 15,000 or $20,000. That's really it for about myself. But since we're on the topic of houses, I alluded in the last video that I had put in an offer on a house. This house is about 30 minutes south of where I live now. So not really the best location, but it does fit my criteria. And so it's a HUD foreclosure. So a HUD is housing and urban development. And so like when there's a veteran or something that forecloses on their house, it usually goes to the HUD office, and then HUD will try to list those homes for sale on the internet. And they're usually like an auction. Like the auction will be in 1 month long, and this particular house has been to auction 12 times and not received a single bid. And so basically my offering process on this house, it's listed at 52,000. It was built in 1924, I think. It's about 1,800 square feet, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Extremely old and not in the best location at all, but it just needs, cleaned up, and seems like some simple stuff. So my first offer in December of 2014, I offered $5,000, so not even 1/10 of the price. um, my old boss is actually a real estate agent, the first guy that I worked for. And he said with these HUD homes, you can just offer, I mean, it's just a bank that owns the property. You can't really insult anybody. Um, and worst case, the bid expires and the bank doesn't accept your bid. And then next month, you can just move your bid up. So I'm starting at $5,000. I don't know if it was accepted yet or not, and I really only have one opportunity each month to make a bid. So I'll just kind of work my way up from there. I'll start at 5, go to 6, go to 7, go to 8, see what my cash position is at that moment. And then I would just pay cash for this house. I would plan to move into it. I don't think it has running water or anything like that at the moment. It's in pretty rough shape. It does not have heating or cooling either. Um, but hopefully it'll be spring or sometime when I can actually live there and not die of a heat stroke or freeze in the winter. So we'll see how that goes. But I am starting the process on, yeah, making offers on some real estate and trying to get out of my parents' house at the moment. So, but parents' house is perfectly fine. I do help them a lot. I also, I'm going to school for engineering on first shift, and I'm working on second shift. So I go to school from 8 a.m. until about 2:30 p.m. And then I will go to work from 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So really, I'm getting home at like midnight. I'm sleeping until about 6:30, 7 in the morning. I, take a shower, eat breakfast, and go right back into school. So I'm not really home too much to bother my parents, or I don't really think they mind, too much. But switching topics to work. So I work as an aseptic filling operator, which for probably 99.99% of people listening to this video would be gibberish. But if you've ever taken a shot or like a vaccine or something like that, not most likely, it had to have come from a machine like this. And so germs and bacteria are the big thing, and so you have to dress up in these suits, like what you see down here. These people dressed up in white aseptic filling operator suits just to protect from bacteria from the medicine that's going to be injected into your body. Since it's being injected into your body, that your body has no immune control over it. It bypasses all your body's defense mechanisms. So you really, really have to watch germs in the area. But that is what I do as my day job, and thankful for the job that I have. I went from $7 an hour to 13.65 an hour of this year, mainly due to this job. This job also pays for all of my school, so I pay for my school up front, and as long as I get a C or higher in the class, then they'll reimburse me the full amount for my classes. So that is a huge, huge benefit there as well. But essentially, I have the leveling structure here in the bottom right, and the company makes these things to the left. This is a syringe, this is a vial, and this is a cartridge. So the company that I work for has 10 different machines. Each machine would make one of these presentations. And you can see this machine here is a vial line, a RABS vial line. But anyway, I started as a level 3 in February, which is at 13.65 an hour. To move to level 4, I would need to be qualified on 2 machines, and that would put me at $15 an hour. I got my 2 machine qualifications probably May of this year. And then in July, I finished 4 machine qualifications. And then here recently, in November, I finished my 6th machine qualification. So I should actually be a level 6 or at $18 an hour, but I'm at 13.65 an hour at the moment. So trying to count my blessings. On one hand, very thankful for the position. On the other hand, even though that they have this qualification process that's supposed to help you make more money, doesn't really seem to do too much. I have talked to my supervisor, and my supervisor has said he's done everything in his power to even move me up to a level 4, even though I'm qualified for a level 6. Um, from my perspective, and just to be fully transparent, there's a lot of people that I work with that are in their 40s and 50s and sometimes 60s. They've worked there for 20 years and they're like a level 5. So for me to walk in and I've not even been there 1 year yet and I'm qualified on 6 machines, even though I'm providing the value to the company, doesn't necessarily, it would probably cause some turmoil within the company if they move this, move myself up to a level 6. All right, yeah, level 6 for having 6 machine qualifications. I did talk with the director of operations. So for context, that is my boss's boss. So 3 levels above me. He is not the most pleasant human beings to talk with. He essentially said that I am essentially just a kid, and he'll move me up when he sees fit, and he doesn't really care how many machine qualifications that I have. It's up to him when I move up. So I didn't really know what to say to that. I just said, if there's any other way that I can provide value to the company, let me know. But this is what they told us that I needed to do in order to provide value, and I'm doing the stuff. It just honestly, it's kind of like it feels like a little bit like the good old boys club where the people that are 50 or 60 years old that have been there forever, they're the ones that are moving up because they're friends with everybody. I'm just some 20-year-old kid that works there, so not really the first in line to move up, even though I've checked the boxes that need to be checked. But the negative things to the side, I'm going to look past that because I am, kind of using this company to pay for my school, and I get paid overtime, so I get time and a half for working anything over 40, and I get double time on Sundays if I work 7 consecutive days in a row. And I have found lots of opportunities to work overtime. But with overtime comes faster machine qualifications, which would hopefully come more pay, but not quite. So but that's kind of everything associated with my work. I'm hoping that in 2015 I could at least move up to a level 4. I don't see why I couldn't do that. I'll probably have 8 or 9 machine qualifications done in the next 6 months or so, halfway through 2015. So I would think that at least moving to $15 an hour would be realistic, hopefully. Or since my degree is engineering, I've also thought about changing teams to like facilities maintenance or something that's a little bit more engineering based than what I'm doing now. But yeah, that's really everything about my work at the moment. Um, we're going to jump into net worth, but before we jump into net worth, just one quick note. So back in May of this year, I did take it's called RECP, Real Estate Certification Program. I took that at the beginning of May, I think it was. Um, the classes were 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. For 2 weeks straight. And during those 2 weeks, I skipped my college classes and just went to work. So um, unfortunately, I failed the real estate certification program. Honestly, I haven't ever purchased a house before, and so a lot of the things that it was teaching me, I just didn't have great context for. I did have to work that was during my nonstop working streak as well, so I didn't have any weekends off to really study. Just didn't really have the time in my life at the moment to take it super seriously. I would like to be a licensed real estate agent at some point in my life, but just have a lot going on and need to focus on getting through school and making it to work and back every day. But just wanted to bring that up. It's something I didn't elaborate on a ton back in May, but hopefully I can retake that class again in the future and have some better results in the future. But jumping into our net worth, so we started out, I'm going to try not to make people dizzy here, in January with a net worth of minus $273, and we were almost $30,000 behind our goal pace of becoming a millionaire by 30. Hadn't even started my 401k up and still had $7,000 that I owed on the car at that time. Really, throughout the year, I mean, we just made steady progress each month. Some months we had some setbacks, like when we had that $5,000 dental bill for getting my wisdom teeth taken out. That hurt us pretty bad. But I mean, all in all, to go from minus 270 something to plus 17,200, that's a pretty good year. I'm pretty pleased with that. I didn't make a ton of progress up on my goal pace, unfortunately, but at least I am moving in the right direction. And I do feel like life is a little bit more stable at the moment. I don't have any huge bills coming up. I do have $18,000 in cash reserves right now. So just sitting in my checkings account, which is, again, just insane. I want to see what I was at the beginning of the year. Sorry, making people dizzy. Checkings account, I was at 6,800. So I was able to add, $12,000 into my checkings account this year. So that's really good. I was able to pay my car off another $3,000, and I was able to put $3,000 in my 401k. So really, I mean, pretty good year. Not much that I could really change about the progress this year. Maybe plan for that wisdom teeth removal a little bit better. Um, and yeah, I mean, I did a pretty good job in terms of saving. I didn't get too crazy, didn't go on vacations. It's really for me just paying for gas to get to school and back, and then making that car payment every single month. But yeah, we finished off 2014 with a net worth of $17,178. So pretty good year this year. Goals for 2015. I think just keep saving up in our cash, keep putting money in our 401k. We've got to purchase a house in 2015. I can't be 25, 26 years old still living with my parents. And the way to fix that is, well, I need a place to live. I could either rent a place or I could try to buy some kind of cheap place. And I am a 20-year-old man, and so I am physically capable, and I can remodel stuff. I can paint walls, pressure wash a house or whatever that stuff is. A lot of that stuff I don't know how to do, but I can always watch a YouTube video and figure it out. So it seems like the best option for me is just try to find a house that I can move into, something that is very distressed but barely livable, that I can just put some sweat equity into and get out of my parents' house. And yeah, hopefully, buy something for 50 and sell it for 60 or 70 and find a good deal like that. So yeah, sorry, I knew that was a long-winded video, but lots to update everybody on for 2014. So yeah, thank you all for joining. And as always, if you have comments, questions, or topics that you'd like me to cover, be sure to comment them down below, and we will see everybody in the next video. Thanks.